Dear student, today I will be discuss three sub-content of the chapter Colonialism and the Countryside. First, Davy Ricardo's ideas of rent of land. Second, impact of American Civil War on the cotton imports of Britain and India. And third, problems related from the official sources in the field of writing about the history of peasants. When the British government expanded its rule outside Bengal, it introduced new system of revenue. There was an increase in agricultural price after 1810 CE. It increased the income of the zamindars in Bengal. Since the revenue was already fixed under the permanent settlement, the colonial state was unable to claim any share from the enhanced income of the farmers. As the government wanted to expand its financial resources, it introduced temporary revenue system or settlement in the newly annexed territories in the 19th century. The British government introduced some of the ideas of David Ricardo, a famous economist in the state of Maharashtra. Ricardo believed that a landowner should claim only the average rent that prevailed at a given time. Many peasants in Bengal had leased out their land and were living on the rental income, and such income had to be taxed. Thus, the British introduced the Rayatwari system of revenue settlement in the Bombay Deccan. The average income from different types of soil was estimated. The revenue paying capacity of the Rayat was assessed and the proportion of it fixed as the share of the state. The lands were re-surveyed every 30 years and the revenue rates increased. Therefore, the revenue demand was no longer permanent. The first revenue settlement in the Bombay Deccan was made in the 1820s. The revenue that was demanded was so high, so many peasants migrated to new regions. By the 1830s, the problem became more severe. Prices of agricultural products fell sharply after 1832 and did not recover for over a decade and a half. Once a loan was taken, the Rayat found it difficult to pay it back. As debt mounted and loans remained unpaid, peasants' dependence on moneylenders increased. They now needed loan even to buy their everyday needs and meet their production expenditure. Before the 1860s, 3/4 of raw cotton imports into Britain came from America. British cotton manufacturers had for long been worried about this dependence on American suppliers. In 1857, the Cotton Supply Association was founded in Britain, and in 1859 the Manchester Cotton Company was formed. Their objective was to encourage cotton production in every part of the world suited for its growth. India was seen as a country that could supply cotton to Lancashire if the American supply dried up. Indian soil and climate both were favorable for cotton cultivation and cheap labor was also available. The American Civil War broke out in 1861. It created a wave of panic in England as the raw cotton imports from America fell from 2 lakh balls in 1861 to 5,500 bales in 1862. So England wanted to increase cotton exports from India. During this, cotton prices grew rapidly. This boom in the cotton market had a profound impact on the Deccan countryside. It had a considerable impact on the life of ryots. Impact of the American Civil War on ryots. Due to American Civil War, England wanted to get as much cotton as possible. It affected a lot the ryot of the Bombay Deccan. The ryot found an access of limitless credit. The export merchants of Bombay gave advantage to urban sahukars. These sahukars extended this credit to rural moneylenders on the assurance that they would provide the requisite cotton. The ryot got 100 as advance for every acre of cotton they planted. The sahukars were eager to give the long-term loans to ryots. The boom in cotton did not benefit all the ryots. While the rich peasants gained, a majority of them went under heavier debt. As a boom in cotton market lasted for, Indian cotton merchants began to visualize the capturing of world market in raw cotton, any permanently displacing USA. The American Civil War came to an end and there again began production of cotton. As a result, Indian export of cotton to Britain declined steadily. Under these circumstances, mandi lenders and export merchants of Maharashtra were no longer keen to providing long-term loans. They observed that demand of Indian cotton is decreasing and prices of cotton are also coming down. That is why they stopped their business and refused to give advantage to peasants. इस प्रकार हम देखते हैं कि डेविड रिकार्डो औसत लगान के ऊपर बल प्रदान करते हैं। उनका मानना था कि भूमि से औसत लगान से अधिक प्राप्त होने लगे तो भूस्वामी को अधिशेष आय होगी जिस पर सरकार को कर लगाने की आवश्यकता होगी। यदि कर नहीं लगाया गया तो किसान किराया जीवी में बदल जाएंगे और उसकी अधिशेष आय का भूमि के सुधार में उत्पादन रीति से निवेश होगा। महाराष्ट्र में जब ब्रिटिश अधिकारियों ने 1820 के दशक में प्रारंभिक बंदोबस्त की शर्तें तय करने का काम अपने हाथों में लिया, तो उनके इन विचारों के अनुसार कार्रवाई की गई। रिकार्डो के विचारों के अनुसार भूस्वामियों को उस समय लागू औसत लगानों को प्राप्त करने का अधिकार होना चाहिए। जब भूमि से औसत लगान से ज़्यादा प्राप्ति होने लगे तो भूस्वामी को सरप्लस इनकम, जिस पर सरकार को कोई टैक्स लगाने की ज़रूरत होगी, यदि कर नहीं लगाया गया तो किसान अपनी संपत्ति के किराए की आमदनी पर अपना जीवन यापन करते हुए आगे बढ़ेगा। इसीलिए अंग्रेज अधिकारियों के दिमाग में यह विचार आया कि अब ब्रिटिश सरकार के लिए यह जरूरी है कि महाराष्ट्र में एक अलग किस्म की राजस्व प्रणाली विकसित की जाए, और ये राजस्व प्रणाली मुंबई दक्कन में लागू की गई, जिसे रैयतवाड़ी के नाम से जाना जाता है। इसी तरह से कपास उत्पादन से संबंधित ब्रिटेन की अमेरिका पर निर्भरता के क्रम में 1861 में अमेरिका में गृह युद्ध हुआ, और उस पृष्ठभूमि ने भारत में किसानों को एक नया अवसर प्रदान किया। ब्रिटेन के कपास क्षेत्र में अमेरिकी गृह युद्ध के कारण काफ़ी तहलका मच गया, और अमेरिका से आने वाली कच्ची कपास के आयात में भारी कमी आई। जब बाजार में तेजी आती है तो ऋण आसानी से दिया जाता है, क्योंकि ऋणदाता अपनी उधार दी गई राशियों की वसूली के बारे में अधिक आश्वस्त महसूस करते हैं। इन बातों को ही ध्यान में रखकर भारत में कपास उत्पादन पर बल दिया गया। जिन दिनों कपास में व्यापार की तेजी रही, भारत के कपास व्यापारी अमेरिका को अस्थायी रूप से विस्थापित करके कच्ची कपास के विश्व बाजार को अपने कब्जे में करने के सपने देखने लगे, और उसमें बहुत हद तक सफलता भी मिली, क्योंकि लंकाशायर कपास का एकमात्र आपूर्तिकर्ता बनने से भारत को इस पृष्ठभूमि में कोई रोक नहीं सकता था। 1865 में जब गृह युद्ध समाप्ति की ओर आगे बढ़ा तो कपास उत्पादन फिर से चालू हो गया, और ब्रिटेन के भारतीय कपास के निर्यात में गिरावट होने लगी, और इस तरह से महाराष्ट्र में निर्यात व्यापारी साहूकार अब दीर्घकालिक ऋण देने के लिए उत्सुक नहीं थे, और इस तरह से फिर से एक बार महाराष्ट्र में कपास उत्पादन से जुड़े हुए किसानों पर उसका काफ़ी असर पड़ा। द गवर्नमेंट और ऑफिशियल सोर्सेज आर ऑफन comprehensive as they are based on inquiries, eye-witnessed, compiled statistical data and other reports. However, we come across different types of problems related from the official sources, especially in the field of writing about the history of peasants. The official sources reflect official concern and interpretations of events. For example, the Deccan Right Commission specifically examined if the revenue demanded by the government was the cause of revolt. After analyzing all the evidences, the commission concluded that the revenue imposed by the government was not the cause of peasant anger. On the other hand, the peasants were angry because of the role of money lenders. This clearly shows that the colonial government was not ready to admit that popular discontent was because of the government action. The official reports have to be read with care and caution, as they can be biased with a tilt in favor of the government. So they must be verified with evidence gathered from newspapers, unofficial records, legal records, and oral sources. This report, referred to as the Deccan Right Report, provide historians with a range of sources for the study of the right. The commission held inquiries in the district where the riots spread, recorded statements of riots, Sahukar, and eyewitnesses, compiled statistical data on the revenue rates, prices, and interpret rates, interest rates, and different regions and other background related sources under district collectors. So the report of Deccan Right Commission show the official report are an invaluable sources for the reconstruction of history. इस प्रकार हम देखते हैं कि सरकारी स्रोतों में सरकारी सर्वेक्षण तथा रिपोर्टें आदि शामिल हैं। इनमें दी गई जानकारी सरकारी दृष्टिकोण तथा सरकार के हित से प्रेरित होती हैं। इनमें किसी घटना के लिए सरकार को दोषी ठहराने के बजाय विरोधी पक्ष को दोषी सिद्ध करने का प्रयास किया गया है। और सच बात तो यह है कि सरकारी रिपोर्टें इतिहास के पुनर्निर्माण के लिए बहुमूल्य स्रोत तो हैं, परंतु इनका उपयोग करने से पहले उनका सावधानीपूर्वक विश्लेषण करना आवश्यक होता है।